On what seemed like a routine patrol, Officer Arnold found himself cruising along the freeway, his gaze sweeping over traffic, when he spotted a car with deeply tinted windows too dark for the law. Following his duty, he flipped on his sirens, signaling the driver to pull over. Little did he know, this seemingly ordinary stop would become a moment that would change his life forever. With an air of calm authority, Arnold approached the vehicle. He rapped on the window, signaling for the driver to lower it. Yet, the driver hesitated. Suspicious, Arnold's hand hovered near his holster as he repeated his command, feeling an unfamiliar tension in the air. Why was the driver reluctant to show his face? The seconds stretched long, thick with uncertainty. Slowly, inch by inch, the window rolled down. What Arnold saw next left him utterly stunned. His professional composure flickered, and his eyes widened as he met the gaze of the driver, a face he instantly recognized, but never dreamed he'd encounter here. In that moment, his mind raced with disbelief. This wasn't just a routine stop, it was a revelation. Struggling to regain his composure, Arnold asked for the driver's ID, though he was certain of who he was looking at. The driver, seemingly aware of the gravity of the situation, handed over his license without a word. As Arnold looked down at the ID to confirm, he realized the truth was even more incredible than he could have imagined. This wasn't just anyone. It was someone who held the power to change his fate, someone who had impacted his life in ways even he hadn't fully understood. This unexpected encounter set in motion a series of events that neither Arnold nor the driver would ever forget. And as for who the driver was, let's just say you'd have to see it to believe it. Arnold's heart raced as he held the driver's ID in his hands, scarcely able to process what he was seeing. His fingers trembled as he read the name on the card, and he glanced back at the face looking up at him, a blend of familiarity and awe clouding his thoughts. The driver, calm yet cautious, seemed fully aware of the impact this revelation was having on Arnold. After a brief pause, Arnold finally found his voice, though it was softer than usual. "Is it really you?" The driver gave a slow nod, acknowledging his identity. This man was a public figure, one whose influence reached far and wide, a beacon of inspiration, the kind of person Arnold had admired since he was young. He couldn't believe he was standing face to face with someone who had unknowingly shaped his life choices, influenced his career, and encouraged him to join the police force to make a difference in the world. The man's eyes met Arnold's with a glint of understanding, as if he could see the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions coursing through the officer's mind. The two stood there in an unspoken moment of connection, a rare instance when fate seemed to intertwine to paths for reasons yet unknown. In an unexpected turn, the driver broke the silence. "I imagine this is unusual for you too," he said with a slight smile. "Perhaps there's a reason we've crossed paths today." Arnold was speechless, but managed a nod. He realized that, while he had pulled this man over to enforce the law, he was instead receiving something far more valuable, an opportunity. The man then spoke words that would forever be etched in Arnold's memory, words of encouragement, of purpose, and of resilience. In that short conversation, he reminded Arnold of why he chose this path in life, and how one small action could make a world of difference. Then, as if sensing the end of their encounter, the driver looked at Arnold with a hint of challenge. "Remember," he said, "you have the power to be the difference, to turn each day into a moment that matters." With a respectful nod, he rolled up his window, leaving Arnold to stand there in a profound silence. Arnold watched as the car disappeared down the freeway, his mind swirling with inspiration and clarity. That chance meeting lit a spark in him, igniting a newfound dedication to his role and a deeper purpose he had long forgotten. He knew that from this day on, his life and the lives of those he served would never be quite the same. Arnold returned to his patrol car, but as he sat behind the wheel, he didn't start the engine. His mind was racing, replaying the brief yet powerful encounter over and over. The words spoken by the driver, the man he had admired for so long, resonated deep within him, striking chords that had been silent for years. As an officer, Arnold often dealt with the tough, gritty side of life, and somewhere along the line, The idealism he once held had faded, but today felt different. It was as if he'd been handed a fresh lens through which to see his work, his life, and the people he served. In the days that followed, Arnold found himself transformed. He approached each traffic stop, each call, and each moment of his duty with a renewed perspective, determined to treat every encounter as an opportunity to make a positive impact. No matter how routine or challenging, he reminded himself that behind each interaction was a chance to change someone's day or even their life. Word about Arnold's shift in attitude soon spread among his colleagues and superiors. They noticed how he approached his work with newfound compassion, offering words of encouragement to troubled teens, helping elderly citizens with tasks outside his duty, and going the extra mile to support those in need. He was no longer just enforcing the law. He was building a bridge between the community and those sworn to protect it. But the encounter with that mysterious, influential driver continued to linger in his mind. Who would believe the story of that chance meeting on the freeway? And what had brought the man there on that day, at that moment? Arnold couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it, a sense that this was not just a random coincidence. One evening, as Arnold was finishing his shift, he noticed an envelope tucked under the windshield wiper of his patrol car. Puzzled, he picked it up and opened it, finding a handwritten note inside. "Officer Arnold, our meeting was no accident. I saw you for who you are, a force for good, someone who can lead others to find light in their darkest hours. If you're open to it, there's a greater purpose waiting for you beyond your current role. Meet me if you're ready to take the next step." The note was signed with the same name on the ID card he'd held that fateful day, and at the bottom was an address. Arnold's heart raced as he considered what this could mean. Could this man see something in him that even he hadn't recognized? The invitation seemed to promise answers, but it was up to Arnold to take the leap. The following evening, Arnold arrived at the address. It was an unassuming building downtown, but inside, he was met with a team of people who shared the same values, committed to community, justice, and change. And there, standing at the center, was the driver, who greeted him with a warm smile. From that moment on, Arnold's journey took a new path, one he had never envisioned. He became not just a police officer, but a mentor, a leader, and an advocate, working alongside others who sought to make an impact beyond the badge. That fateful encounter on the freeway was indeed life-changing, as Arnold found himself not only protecting his community, but inspiring it, one day and one person at a time. Arnold felt a surge of purpose as he took his place among this remarkable group of people, each one uniquely skilled and dedicated to making a difference. They weren't just working to uphold the law. They were building programs to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community, addressing the root causes of issues rather than just reacting to them. For the first time in his life, Arnold felt like he was part of something transformative, something that could shift the very foundation of his city. As the weeks passed, Arnold worked closely with the team, learning from community leaders, counselors, social workers, and activists who had years of experience building trust and solving problems from the ground up. Together, they developed initiatives aimed at empowering neighborhoods, supporting youth development, and providing resources to those in need before small issues turned into crises. They organized workshops and town halls, creating safe spaces where residents could voice their concerns and share ideas directly with law enforcement. In one initiative, they partnered with local schools to create a mentorship program where officers and community leaders served as positive role models for at-risk youth. Arnold volunteered to be a mentor, spending time with kids who reminded him of himself at a young age, full of potential but in need of guidance and encouragement. He became a steady presence, someone they could rely on, share their dreams with, and even laugh with. Seeing the hope light up in these kids' eyes fueled him in a way he hadn't experienced before. One young boy, Marcus, especially stood out to Arnold. Marcus was bright and curious, but came from a difficult background, often finding himself in trouble at school. Arnold saw the potential in Marcus and encouraged him to embrace his strengths. Week by week, Arnold watched Marcus transform, gaining confidence and learning to channel his energy positively. Marcus even shared a newfound dream of becoming an officer one day, not to enforce the law, he said, but to help people the way Arnold helped him. This simple statement moved Arnold deeply, and he realized how far he had come from that day on the freeway. He was no longer just a man in uniform. He was a figure of hope and resilience, a living testament to what compassion and purpose could achieve. His life had come full circle, from being inspired to now inspiring others, from looking up to heroes to becoming one himself. Years passed, and Arnold's impact grew beyond his city. He began speaking at conferences and events, sharing the story of that chance encounter and the incredible path it had set him on. People across the country reached out, eager to replicate his community-based approach to law enforcement. Soon, programs inspired by Arnold's journey began to pop up in other cities, spreading the vision he and his mysterious mentor had created together. One day, after giving a talk to a packed audience, Arnold received a note, much like the one he had found years before on his patrol car. It simply read, "Arnold, thank you for stepping up. You were right where you needed to be that day, and you continue to be. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Your legacy has just begun." There was no name, but Arnold didn't need one. He knew who it was, and he knew the message was a reminder that his story, and the changes he had worked so hard to create, would continue long after him. With a heart full of gratitude, Arnold smiled, ready for whatever the next chapter would bring. His life had changed forever, not because of fate alone, but because he chose to follow the path that had opened up to him. And in doing so, he had left a mark on the world that would never be erased. As Arnold looked out over the city he had dedicated his life to serving, he felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. His journey had taken him from a routine patrol to a mission of hope, reminding him that every encounter holds the potential to change a life. Arnold's legacy would live on in every person he had helped and every heart he had inspired. And so, as his story closes, let it be a reminder that sometimes the smallest moments can lead to the greatest transformations. Thank you for watching, and remember, if this story moved you, please like and subscribe to join us for more inspiring stories. Stay tuned, and together, let's keep sharing the power of kindness, resilience, and change.